His 2006 Busch Series debut being passed by the top two. More on the second place car, Lindsay.
Yeah, Carl Edwards just got on the radio and said his car is starting to feel a little bit stiff. But then again, he told me before this race that he absolutely loves this car. It gives him a lot of confidence because this is the same car that he won with at Nashville and also at Loudon. His best finish, by the way, at this track, third last July. Alan?
All right, Lindsay, thanks. So Carl hanging right in there, although giving up a little ground these last couple laps to Denny Hamlin. How about Hamlin, Ralph?
Well, I just spoke to crew chief Dave Rogers about the 20 car, our race leader here. And
hang on, Ralph, got one in the wall, turn 3, J.J. Yaley.
Wow. Now, Alan, I don't know what happened to J.J., but he hit that wall, clobbered that wall, but the safer barrier has taken care of him. He's able to drive off in it. You know, years back, he would be welded to the wall over there.
This is crew chief Jason Ratliff looking on. Remember, Yaley talked to us in our pre-race coverage about not having an overwhelmingly great car tonight, and that they struggled with it in practice and seemed to make it worse each time they went out. And they've got some work to do on it now. Yaley started in 23rd place. Watch the top right of the screen, and you'll see this 18 car come into the frame.
Let's see if we can figure out what happens. Looks like he wrecked on the straightaway. That was still up on the back straightaway, wasn't it, Alan?
All right, that's inconclusive. Let's get a look from Kenny Wallace's car. That's just the tail end of it. And that ugly mark on the wall.
It's kind of weird looking.
We'll have to see what we can find out about the cause of Yaley's crash.
Into the back straightaway over there, probably around what, 150 mile an hour? Yeah. And he's crashed into the wall hard. He's driving it around. I'm gonna bet you they'll pull the fenders off of that thing and it'll run a lot better than you think it would.
It'd be awfully hard to figure the way he hit Michael with the left side of that car that he didn't get hooked by somebody, huh?
It happened in a weird place. He was way out of the groove. The leaders are on pit road, Alan.
So here we go with the strategy calls.
38 laps. That's 3/4 through the fuel run, huh?
Yeah. Expect at least a couple pit stops tonight, if not more. And let's start with the second place runner's stop. Here's Lindsay.
Well, Carl Edwards is pulling into the pits, and we talked to you a little bit before about how he was feeling stiff. What they're going to do is make an air pressure adjustment to try to combat that. They're also giving Carl 4 new tires and fuel. Ralph?
Tim Sheets goes to work on the front of the number 20 car as his car has been struggling through the middle of the corner. It's been very tight. So they're going to put a half a pound of air into the left rear and raise the track bar 1 round. This is chassis number 2043, which last one from the front at Darlington earlier this year, Alan.
Big scramble off pit road. Carl Edwards losing several spots on that exchange of stops. Reed Sorensen picking up a few, but no contest up front. Denny Hamlin's team hangs on to the lead on a set of caution flag pit stops. Under yellow, back for the restart in a minute on TNT. The Busch Silver Celebration 250 on TNT is brought to you by Super 8. See you all along the way. And by KFC's Fiery Buffalo Boneless Wings. It's no bones, all flavor, only at KFC. First caution of the night, a J.J. Yaley crash. Lindsay?
Yeah, well, J.J. Yaley is in his car down here in the garage. J.J. had reported that he just got terribly loose, went into the corner like you saw, and lost control. So right now his team is working very, very hard to get that car back in a position where they can get it back out on the track. J.J., as a matter of fact, like I said, is still sitting in the car. Alan?
Fifth place driver in points coming in as we go green.
Now these restarts make me nervous here, Alan. See how far down the front straightaway Hamlin is before he accelerates right there? All these guys in the back will accordion up, and they've got to see them diving out. That's because they've misjudged who took off and who didn't. You'll see a wreck there every now and then, and it might happen tonight. Steve Wallace slid a little high there in turn 1. He's not having as much fun in the race as he did qualifying.
No.
Car's falling to the back.
Had some shuffling up on pit road on that set of stops. You saw Denny Hamlin holding the lead. Reed Sorensen up to second. Clint Boyer up to third. Carl Edwards drops second to fourth. Scott Wimmer's fifth in the 66th. Kevin Harvick shuffled all the way back to eighth place in the 21.
And someone that desperately needed that caution out is that 5 car. He was falling. He had fallen out of the top 10, and this car was really slow. It looked like he was terribly tight. Couldn't get his front tires to grip. Couldn't get it to turn off the corners. Ralph, what have they said about the 5? It looked like he was in bad shape.
Michael, it was very tight. In fact, the tires were doing a lot of chattering. So you're exactly right in the fact that they needed to get in here and adjust on that 5. They've done that, and hopefully they're going to try to work that chatter out.
And I'm suspecting that when the tires was chattering, Kyle was chattering. Probably wasn't G-rated.
The chattering tire is not a happy tire.
No, and a driver feeling that is just frustrated. You know, they practice that car all day long, and you'd like to think that right off the bat you would be closer than you would handle better than that. You could run better than you are. And you're just frustrated, and you have to explain to your crew how bad it is, hoping that they can make the adjustments that'll fix it.
Kyle right now with a fairly nice recovery. He's running in 8th place. Kevin Harvick passed him there a minute ago for 7th in the 21.
Still doesn't look like it's fixed. Looks like to me it's still too tight. Use the curb there a little bit. You see that, Alan? A lot of times the drivers will do that. They'll hang that left front tire down on the curb, hoping to free the car up, make him back in, kick out, and drive off the corner straighter.
Harvick started up front, Ralph, dropped back a little bit. Now he's starting to pick his way back toward the front. What's the 21 team saying?
Alan, the conversation, as you heard at the beginning of the race show tonight, was all about building adjustability into your car. For Kevin Harvick, they put a rubber into the left rear, again, working on that car, trying to get the setup right to make it get through these corners, because as we've heard everybody talking about, it's not so much the entry to the corner here, Michael, but being able to get off. That's where you're going to pass everybody.
Well, the straightaways are out for so long that if you push off the turn, you give away all your momentum. And a guy that's handling well off the turn, he can have 20 less horsepower than you, but he gets that gas down, he uses what horsepower he's got, and he can drive up beside you. Exiting the turn is the most important thing to have your car do well here, and it's the hardest thing to accomplish.
And it explains why the 21 lost a few spots on pit road, because they took the time to put that spring rubber into the car on the stop while the tire was off.
There's Harvick. You see, we're used to seeing these front ends sealed out, and like I said, here it's all about mechanical grip, trying to get those tires to bite in the road by using the setup to do it. If we're at Chicago or some of these big racetracks, Indianapolis, like we'll see next week, you're more concerned about your aero package. You want your thing sealed to your car sealed to the road. Harvick's down on that curbing again, like we saw earlier. He's down on the curbing, trying to use it to help his car turn, trying to get up under Paul Menard. He's got a fast car. He got around the 5 car, and he's driven right up to the 11, so he'll be a factor before it's over. Hear him working the gas?
Yeah, just had to wait just for a second.
A lot of times if you use that curve to make your car turn and you hit the gas too hard, it'll spin out in a heartbeat. Let's listen to him use his gas. Oh, sorry. I thought he was going to use his gas again to get that thing turned. Listen. Hear him? And you see Menard getting a little bit loose off the corner. Got to give Kevin a chance to make a run on him.
Menard gives.
Yes, he did.
So Harvick up to 6th place, and Menard back to 7th. Now, I talked with Kevin and a couple of the other drivers in the garage earlier today, Michael, about the NASCAR Busch Series Championship system. Right now, Kevin is a runaway point leader, but they don't use the chase system in the Busch Series yet, like they do in the Nextel Cup Series. I asked Kevin, would you like to see the chase in the Busch Series?
I think that all 3 series should have a chase format, to make all the series as exciting as the Cup Series. I think, it would give a lot of guys that don't get going at the beginning of the year, especially in the trucks and the Busch Series, a chance to go after the championship, and I think would make the other 2 series equally as exciting as the Cup Series.
He's just glad they're thinking about doing it next year, because right now he doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got this championship won. We're just halfway through the season.
348-point lead starting the night.
And the way he competes and how fast his car is, all he has to do is show up.
Things tight up front. Reed Sorensen hanging right there with Denny Hamlin since this restart.
Reed's not let Denny get away at all. And just a lap or so ago, before they caught some traffic, all 5 of the cars up front were bumper to bumper. They've separated a little bit now as they work through traffic.
Carl Edwards has moved into 3rd, getting around Clint Boyer on this lap. So the 60 car up to 3rd. Boyer back to 4th. That's Scott Wimmer running 5th. Going on behind Denny Hamlin. The race leader, he's led all of the laps so far tonight. And the Busch silver celebration at 250. Easy for me to say. I got you. NASCAR Race Day. Get your engines revving right before the race begins. Unfiltered news, analysis, and interviews live from the track on Speed. And we are live on TNT at Gateway International Raceway outside of St. Louis. After a rain delay, the NASCAR Busch Series underway. And here's a guy who appears to be flying. Johnny Sauter started this race in 30th spot. And Mike, right now, he's racing Mike Wallace for 11th.
Remember what we said earlier in the race? He said he didn't like this track. And it looked like he wasn't running well at all. And now, all of a sudden, Lindsay, he's got that thing turned on.
Yeah, he does, and he wants to thank his crew for that, because this crew is gelled so well together. You know, Team Yellow is what they call them, and the pit crew has won the Checkers Rally's Pit Challenge 9 times, and that includes the past 3 races. So now that last pit stop they just had, they gained 6 spots in the pits. They're steadily progressing, and they think they can get Johnny up even further.
Right now, he's solidly up into the top 15, and moving forward as we check speeds at the line, Kevin Harvick fastest that last lap.
That adjustment is paying off. And you know, it's good to make that adjustment on your first stop, Alan, because then you can make up that track position. If he comes in late in the race and tries to do that, you don't have time to make it up.
Harvick gave up some positions on the stop by taking the time to put the spring rubber in. As we continue to watch this race for 11th spot, let's check out up front. All of a sudden, while Denny Hamlin has eased away from Reed Sorensen, now there's a race for 2nd and 3rd. As Carl Edwards has come back into the picture.
Flares up to the high side, then down to the bottom. He's caught Reed, and now he's got to try to figure out how to get around him. We saw him catch Denny earlier in the race, and it looked like he was better through the corner, but then Denny would drive away from him on the straightaway. Ralph, what's Reed saying? Has he got a good car? Does he think he can go up there and get some of Denny Hamlin?
You know, Michael, right now, he's actually not saying anything. I just spoke to crew chief Brian Patty, and everybody expected with the cooler temperatures after the rain that this racetrack, being a little bit greener, would be a little bit tighter as the night got going. And that's exactly what the situation was, especially for Reed Sorensen in the middle of the corner. That caution due to J.J. Daly gave them the opportunity to come in and pit. They made an air pressure adjustment, put on 4 fresh tires, and apparently things are really good. He's running fast, and he's not saying anything on the radio.
You know, people talk about the racetrack changing. The conditions on the track change, and it affects the handling of the car. It's not so much that the track changed, but how the car reacts to the racetrack. In this case, Reed Sorensen's car gripping the track differently than it did before the rain during practice.
I wished I could explain to you how many adjustments you can make on one of these cars. Yeah. I mean, a pound of air pressure out of one of your tires can make it handle differently. So when the conditions change, all those variables have to line up in order to be able to run like this man is right now. It all has to work together, and some guys just don't have it working right now.
I love to describe race cars to people that maybe are new to racing in general as road science projects. Think about that. They're just experiments of physics, geometry, all that kind of thing.
Rudeman had a terrible pit stop. He came in the pits running 14th or 15th, and he fell all the way back to 26th after his pit stop. But he has raced that thing back up to the 16th spot. Got a pretty good car there.
And moving up.
Looked like they had some trouble on the left side tires when they tried to change them. I don't know what went wrong. Maybe it was a rubber or adjustment on the chassis that took a little extra time. But he seems to be running better than he was earlier, just a long pit stop.
You got to follow up on that. You didn't have an eye on that car out the window during the pit stops, did you?
Yes, because it was the only one left on pit road when everybody else left.
Oh, okay.
So something didn't go right for him, but you can see it looks a little free right there. That's what a driver wants at this racetrack. He's got the thing freed up, steering with the rear end off the corner, and in the long run, that'll pay off.
We'll put our best man on the job finding out what happened there.
What's Ralph found out?
There you go.
It's amazing you thought that was me, Michael, but I'll take it. There was 4 times that they put on the car, and they did have the problem with the left front on the pit stop. They freed up the car for the exit, which is exactly what you guys are predicting they did. And they did that by taking a half pound of air out of the left front. And that air pressure adjustment is what's allowed Rudiman to make his way up to the front.